Let's breathe in this morning together as we open in prayer and we center ourselves in this moment. There is one light, one power, one presence, one essence. It is the very fabric of your being, the fabric of this thing we call life. So as we breathe into this moment, we allow our hearts and our minds to be open right here and right now to the transforming power of Spirit. As we acknowledge this divine appointment, this coming together in consciousness today, this commitment to our practice, we ask for a mighty blessing, mind, body, and soul, that we may remember who and whose we are as children of the infinite, as children of light, as beings of the Most High. And may there be a deep quickening within each one of us here today, that we may transform and transmute anything that no longer serves us, and we may receive that which is according to our nature, that which moves us forward, that which grows us. Create in me a fresh start, a clean heart. Allow me, through the power of the practice, to know that I can fully release anything that no longer serves my being, my body temple, my emotions, my mind, my life, my world, my community. And that I can be born anew, that I can bring in, be present to, awaken the consciousness that delivers unto me in each moment all that is needed and necessary to move forward in light, to move forward into my good, to move forward in co-creation. We pray this in the name and through the nature of all that is holy. And so it is. Let's sing together for a moment. We let the love wash over us. We let the love wash over us. We let it be peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. And light. We let the light wash over us. We let it be. So we join our hearts and our minds together as we light the burning bowls. And we bless them, knowing the transmuting power of fire. In fire rituals, honoring the element of fire that has been used throughout time for transformation rituals, to take substance and shift it, to shift form. And that's what we're here for today. So you have arrived to your divine appointment. You have taken your spiritual practice into your own hands to create a distinction between last year and what's coming next. It's been said that we live 365 days in a year, but for some, we live one day 365 times. Think about that as far as emotions. Who lives one emotion, one story throughout the whole year, right? Revisiting that story, revisiting that feeling over and over and over again. If you look into child psychology, most of the psyche, most of that foundation is developed before 5 years old. And we have experiences, and then we keep growing them and expanding on them. And we keep living the same thing over and over again. And that's what's normal, that's what's ordinary. But we're not here to be ordinary, we're here to be extraordinary. There is so much more to us than meets the eye, right? We've all experienced change and transformation. We've all experienced times where probably life itself has brought us to our knees, either the grief or the loss or the pain or the emotions or the change or the shift, whatever it is, you fill in the blank. But where life itself has kind of, I'm just making sure I don't go up in flames here. I've never had a burning bowl that close to me, and we made a joke before the service about making sure no one wears anything flowy, and then, of course, what did I show up in? Flow. So when we engage in this practice called life, we can keep going, and when we keep going, life just happens, right? And we wake up and we feel like we're experiencing it, but it's not experiencing us. So this ritual, this practice, this day is about stepping into our divine birthright, stepping into the consciousness that life is here to experience us. And when we step forward in that way, we recognize that we are also here to experience life, but not in the same way that we might think, like it's just handed to us and we just have to keep dealing with it or flinging it to the left and to the right. But that we can surrender to a beauty and a depth of life and know that we are taken care of. Know that we are cared for. Know that we live in the midst of the infinite. But that takes spiritual practice. So we're here today to consciously release, to consciously let go of things that no longer serve us, and then to engage in a process of writing a letter that you'll do as we do meditation time in a little bit here after the burning bowl, but writing a divine correspondence in whatever way suits your learning style, your artistic and creative abilities. It can be a dear God, a letter from God to you, a letter from you to God. It can be a correspondence in the midst of the divine. It can be a downloading and a releasing of anything that comes to you as if you were hearing the divine voice nourish you into this new year. A letter of affirmation, affirming you. A letter when you're in this sacred space, when you're clear on who and whose you are, writing that down, going, you are strong, you are confident, you are, and filling the letter with affirmations. You'll be able to hold on to this letter throughout the year, or you can place it in the basket. If you're in the sanctuary, you can place it in the basket as you leave. If you're online, you can actually mail it to us with your mailing address, and we will mail it back to everyone who leaves it with Unity Village Chapel. It'll stay on a sacred altar throughout the year, and we'll mail it back to you next year so you can see it. If you participated in our service last year, you probably got your letter in the mail today. It's a pretty sacred thing to get to revisit it, to see where you were, see what came to you, and see what support through that letter, through this experience you gave yourself for the following year. Some of you will choose to take that letter home and just place it on an altar, place it in a sacred space. So after I invite you up to do your release with the burning bowls, you'll go back and sit in your seats or wherever you are at home. Sit on your couch, snuggle up in your bed, some of you, and just make sure you have letter writing paper. And you'll sit down and you can either hold on to the stone first or you can start writing the letter. Do what you're called to. But on the stone, you bring in a name. Just through meditation and prayer, a name, a word. And when you get it, with that pencil, you write it on the stone. And then just hold on to that with you in meditation. And you'll take this stone with you through the year. And this stone comes from an ancient ritual practice. Stones have been used throughout time significantly. In ancient Rome and Greece, they would, when there was a judgment, when the judges would make their call on whether there was a verdict of guilty or not guilty, they would hold a stone in their hand sometimes and reveal the stone as their vote for the verdict. And if it was a dark-colored stone, it was guilty. If it was a white stone, it was you're free. There was also a time in that history where a stone would be given and maybe even cracked apart. So I might put my name on half of it and give that half to you so that when you come to my territory, when you come to where I live, you will be treated with privilege. You will have safe passage. People will know you are of the oneness, you are of the family. There's also an ancient practice where they would write on the stone and break the stone, and you would have half and I would have half, and it wouldn't make sense unless you put the whole thing together. So you would offer that out, and that was the way of knowing safe passage, the way of assurance. There's also tradition when people are released from prison, giving them a white stone for a clean slate, starting over, beginning anew. To signify transformation, to signify change. So this has a lot of history. These stones are imported from Jerusalem. It's a Jerusalem stone. And so this is for each one of us to breathe into the practice. If you are at home, we have some creative ideas. You can take a hike later on today, walk around the gardens near your home, and just find a stone that calls to you. Maybe you already have one with you right where you are. And for our burning bowl, you can either light a candle in your house or a fireplace, or what I like to do is grab a little bit of toilet paper and flush that puppy. So you can write whatever it is on the toilet paper, and then when we do that part of the service, you just go in and flush it. Goodbye, it's gone. The tradition of transformation and signifying transformation with a name change is long and vast and mystical. Abram, as he grew in spiritual awareness, became Abraham. Sarai became Sarah. Saul became Paul. A change in name signifies a change in consciousness. In biblical times, a change in name was a very sacred thing. Every name in the Bible has meaning. Your name has meaning, right? Do you know the meaning of your name? It's a connection for you, isn't it? Our names have meaning, and we can live into that meaning. People often change their names when they make a commitment of marriage, when they make a new vow, right? Taking on a different name, a new name. I know that we have another McCabe at the end of this year. We gained another female McCabe, and it's a beautiful thing, and it was such a cool thing. And I didn't expect this. This is my sister-in-law. But at this time, you don't expect for someone to change their name. And I thought, how cool. She's becoming a McCabe. It was pretty special to hear that. So making a vow or a commitment that you can live into with a name change. A name signifies your identity and your identification, what you're connected to, what you want to grow into. I want to share a little bit from Wayne Mueller, one of my favorite men and authors, in the book, How Then Shall We Live? And he says this, listen, there is a delicate truth in the names of things. Crocus, daffodil, poppy, dew, tulip, hyacinth, lilac, rose. Each name elicits a picture, a fragrance, a sense of the morning, a way of greeting the fruits of the earth in spring. The names we bestow on things we encounter are sacraments, holy things. A name reveals a secret covenant, willow, clover, chokecherry, jasmine. When we hear the name, we remember the beauty and the essence of what we have named. He goes on to say, our name can help us recall the fragrance of our deepest nature. Our name not only reflects who we are, it helps us define who we become. We must take great care in how we name ourselves. When we take our name, we are declaring in some subtle, indescribably potent act the most intimate, sacred truth of who we believe ourselves to be. For this reason, he says, many traditional peoples have names they keep secret, private. Names they reveal to no one or only to those most intimate. Some are shared only with the divine, others only with family or friends. To broadcast our name, to be flippant or unconscious in the speaking of it, is to trample holiness underfoot. He quotes Joseph Epps Brown. Native American languages are joined to other sacred languages of the world in the sense that words are not conceived simply as symbols assigned arbitrarily to other units of meanings, as tends to be the case with our own English language. Rather, words in themselves are experienced as in an immediate manner as units of power. Words received as units of power. Thus, to name a being or any element of creation is actually to make manifest the power or quality, soul or spirit of that which is named. Any parent knows that sacred power, the gift of being honored and humbled to name a child. In the words of Scott Momaday, a man's life proceeds from his name in the way a river proceeds from its source. So I invite you to begin to get quiet within, because what comes before the letter writing and what comes before the receiving of a name is a deep release. In order to bring in the new, we have to stop holding on to whatever we were holding, whatever has been holding us back. So breathe into a softened space right here and right now. And think, what is it that you don't want to bring with you into this new year? What story are you done telling or living? What state of mind are you willing to live without so that we can be shown what we can really live with? What is it we're letting go of? What is it we're ready to be freed from, to shift? In order to make space for the new, to bring in visions or goals or set intentions, we clear out, we clean up, we let go. Maybe it's a health experience, a mental health experience, emotional pain, physical pain, exhaustion, hard knocks. Maybe it's just wanting a lighter way of being, a lighter way of living. Let us surrender and allow the spirit of overcoming to be here, to support us. I invite you now to take your paper and to just begin writing. whatever it is that comes to you. It's that little piece of flash paper. Maybe you're tired of waiting. Maybe you're tired of demanding that the moment meet your needs or that life meet your demands. Tired of being disappointed by that. And just let it all out onto the paper. And if you choose, you can just hold the paper in your hand and guide yourself through a meditative moment like that. And whenever you're ready, you'll come up to one of these burning bowls, and there's one in the back as well. And there will be ushers in the front area, so if you need help with it, someone can help you because you're not alone. And if you'd like someone to do it for you, you can raise your hand and an usher will come bring it up if you have difficulty getting to one of the bowls. And you're just going to gently take the paper and bring it to the flame and let it go. As you feel moved and called, and then you make your way back to your seat with your white stone and your letter. We let the love wash over us. We let it be light. We let the light wash over. Of Linda Ruther from the Wild Woman Sisterhood. Embody your wild nature. And the Great Mother said, "Come, my child, and give me all that you are. I am not afraid of your strength in darkness, of your fear or pain. Give me your tears. They will be my rushing rivers and roaring oceans. Give me your rage. It will erupt into my molten volcanoes and rolling thunder. Give me your tired spirit. I will lay it to rest in my soft meadows. Give me your hopes and dreams. I will plant a field of sunflowers and arch rainbows in the sky. You are not too much for me. My arms and heart welcome your true fullness. There is room in my world for all of you, all that you are. I will cradle you in the boughs of my ancient redwoods and in the valleys of my gentle rolling hills. My soft winds will sing you lullabies and soothe your burdened heart. Release your deep pain. You are not alone, and you have never been alone. So I invite you to breathe into the fullness of your release and just let go. Know that it is done. By the sacred element of fire and through your sacred act of intention, you have let it go. If anything with this appearance comes back again, it's just a shadow, a hologram, reminding you of the divine release and the movement forward. I invite you to take your white stone in your hand now and your letter and hold them with this prayer intention. This prayer that has circulated to many, that we breathe into our hearts. I request and invite our light to radiate purely and completely. Let it purify and help everyone, both physical and non-physical, to manifest their most divine and magnificent states. With this light, open our eyes to see who we truly are, to see ourselves and all others in our true highest and most glorious divine forms. With this light, purify every cell of every being, so all shadows are dissipated, allowing our true selves to shine in unbounded joy and fulfillment. Illuminate our flame of unconditional love to radiate purely and infinitely to everyone without exception, especially ourselves. With this light, spark our true and perfect divine faith, the faith of our most revered masters, which is bequeathed to all of us. Faith which comes from direct knowing, allows everything desired. No miracle is too big or too small for pure beings of this faith. With these gifts, allow us perfect well-being of body, mind, and spirit. This is for all, without exception, which means an end to suffering, judgment, pain, anything not worthy of divine beings. With sincere appreciation and joy, we request that this occur naturally and easily. Not one soul left behind. So we breathe into this prayer. We breathe into a new knowing, a new way of being with all of the elements of what it is to be human and divine. That we may no longer fear grief or pain or sorrow. That we know we have the tools and the consciousness to let it flow through us without attachment and leave with us the gifts of Spirit as we open our hearts to that which is new, to the divine affirmative guidance, and to a new name that we enter into a moment of meditation to receive. As you receive your name, you can continue in meditation or move on to writing your letter, breathing into the sacred space, your sacred experience. Send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens. And it returns to me. Peace, send my peace over the mountain. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Light, I send my light over the mountain. I send my light over the sea. I send my light into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send grace. I send grace over the mountain. I send grace over the sea. I send grace into the heavens, and it returns to me. by the power of this practice. May we experience freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering. That means a life with depth and with feeling, and living with a big let go. And we welcome in, we are the space for the new creation, the new day. There is no thing that I need to bring with me. All that is needed arrives in each moment. I'm moving beyond goals and human ideas of what's needed. Of what brings me approval or acceptance, prestige or power. And I'm moving into a higher state of being, a higher way of living. A goal plus spirit is an intention, a calling. I'm living into the calling that I'm called to hear. Send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens. And it returns to me. Gently raising our hands to the heart center, as if inhaling and exhaling through the heart itself. We give thanks for this practice, this peace, this prayer, this moment. And raising the hands to the third eye and bowing to seal the practice. Namaste. One of my good friends and colleagues, Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, said, "We are not here to save the world in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We are here to serve a rising new paradigm." The same thing is true for ourselves. We are not here to save the past, to save the old self. We are here to serve the rising one within. Namaste.